Hi, I'm Kerry Katona and you're listening to Alex Belfield. You know he's a big fan of frozen food. Alex told me there's nothing he loves more than a thick crust meaty 12-inch with a low-fat crinkle on the side. Dirty fat
We'll talk about the new book, Tough Love, which is in the stores now. This book is very different because it's a novel. It's not about you, although there seems to be a lot of similars.
Well, of course, I'll be honest with you, I didn't write the book.
So are you the new Jackie Collins, then?
I'd like to say Matty Nicole. Mark's ex-girlfriend, who he's got a daughter with, because I had her working for us to help her out, found out that she was on benefits. You know, if I was the drug taker, then I wouldn't have her daughter living with me at the minute, would I? Like, today I'm a bit down, kind of level-headed, but sometimes when I do hear something like that, I will lock myself up in my bedroom. You know, the kids will go to school and I'll sit in my bedroom, do me paint by numbers.
Have you now just completely given up hope that you will ever reconcile with your mother and put this behind you? Because so much has been said publicly.
You see, I was always waiting for it to happen with my mother, because I never felt worthy enough. I mean, the first time my mum slit her wrist, I was 3 years of age, and that went up until I was 15, and she wanted to kill herself and die, and I thought, well, aren't I good enough for you to want to stay on this planet? And then when me and Brian split up, you know, I was driving my mum was like, come on, let's get some cocaine. 25 grand to get me wops out. I don't see the big deal.
You're a mother, you're a wife. Do you really need all of this nonsense that goes on around you?
No, I would rather not deal with any of it, to be honest with you. But it's not me that goes to the paper and say, listen, I was off my head on GMTV. Will you write about it, please? All these stories come from 3 people. Matt's and girlfriend's
allegedly.
No, he is, honestly.
I think the problem is when you do interviews to promote whatever you're doing currently, whether it's the autobiography or the new book, it then opens up a whole new kind of worms for them to attack you again. So it keeps going full circle and full circle. Is there not a point where you think, all right, enough is enough?
Who do I go into and say, right, I don't want to be famous anymore? And let's be honest, who's going to listen?
But if you went away, they wouldn't care so much.
Majority of the time, just sat at home.
But eventually they would get bored because they would be a new...
Well, that's what I'm hoping, but it's been over... I think since the divorce from my ex-husband, a tiny little thing will upset me, like, I'll be dead moody. I mean, I feel sorry for Mark.
I would be interested to ask him the question, did he consider the consequences of being with Kerry Katona? Because that draws so much attention to him, and presumably he doesn't want it.
Unfortunately, I tried to say that he was a drug dealer, and the embarrassment that I felt from that his mother must have thought, what's he doing with this girl? You know, I just couldn't apologise enough. I mean, she's even gone on to say that he's a mass murderer.
What I don't understand is how you can, again, come to terms with someone who you should be able to trust, stabbing you in the back.
I mean, my mother was never in my life, really. And then when me and Brian split up, you know, I was driving my mum was like, come on, let's get some cocaine, you know, get the money out. So I was getting the money out, my friends were coming round, I was buying the drugs. You know, my mum had me under her thumb. Without me, she's got nothing. I mean, she still lives in the house that I've bought, but that's how my mum's always been. I mean, she slept with one of my boyfriends when I was 15. You know, she put me into care. I always expected it from me mum, but when it did happen, it did destroy me because I've never met my real dad.
What happens when your mum comes to you with a drug? How did she enable you to take that? What did she say to you to make you think that she thought it was all right?
She told me it was sherbet. She was in the toilet with my mum was in a relationship with a woman for a few years, and we was in a pub called the Old Ball, and I went in the toilets and she was taking this white powder and I said, what is it? She went, it's sherbet. Put a lot of it on my thing and put it on my tongue, and that's, you know, I was like...
Help me with this question. Was there nobody in your life at 14 who could have stepped in and go, for Christ's sake, somebody come and save Kerry?
Well, I was in care, because I got put into care because my mum's fella told us he was Freddy Krueger and wanted to chop our feet off and our hands off, and he actually stabbed my mum.
Right. Stabbings, cocaine, this is all just day in the life of Kerry Katona,
yes.
Is it? Right, okay.
It's not the only stabbing that's gone on in their life.
Was there one person in your life throughout, a constant, who worried about you, who cared for you, who stood up for you?
I'd say my stepsister, who's 2 years older than my mum. It's very confusing.
Your stepsister's 2 years older than your mum?
Yeah.
How old's she then?
She's 50 next year.
And your mother's 48?
Yes, she's 48 in January.
That is a complete mind fart, isn't it?
Well, when I was born, my mum was going out with this bloke who I called Dad.
Right.
So his dad was my granddad.
Right.
But she left my dad for my granddad. So my dad became my stepbrother.
God, if you weren't here, you'd be on Trisha, wouldn't you? I'm serious. If we were,
And my granddad became my dad. None of them were my dad by blood.
We'll move on to the Atomic Kitten years now.
Yeah.
I think really you only had one big hit with them, didn't you? You had several songs, but one big hit.
I had 4 singles.
What went wrong?
I got pregnant. I wanted to be a mum. To be honest with you, me and Brian didn't plan Molly.
Obviously, the kids are beautiful. That's blatantly
Of course
obvious
they
to
are. I
everybody.
made him.
Well, of course. and you're beautiful yourself. That's why you got in the group. Let's face it, with all 3 of you, I mean, it wasn't necessarily for your beautiful voices, was
No.
it? So you got together with Brian. How did you meet him?
Just doing loads of different gigs around the country. Went from there, really.
So how long was it you were saying clear off before you said, all right then, come on, let's put a notch on the
Was it that
bedpost?
long?
No, was it 40 minutes, was it? 25 minutes?
No, it was much longer than that. Much longer than that.
You went on to have
Yes.
2 gorgeous kids, and it went wrong.
Brian left me because he fell out of love with me.
How does it feel when you're a father, do you think, when you then read that your ex-wife has changed and that she's now into drugs and she's the mother of your 2 children? How do you think he perceived that, and what did he say to you in terms of the children? Because they would be his primary concern, wouldn't
I
they?
have many, 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 many opinions on this matter, but unfortunately I'm not going to disclose it because
Okay.
it's Molly and Lily's daddy at the end of the day. I unfortunately no longer speak to Brian,
Right.
and of course we're in a custody battle, which I can't speak for legal reasons, so I have to be very careful what I say. I mean, I can only imagine he must be distraught, he must be petrified, thinking his kids are being abused and looked after, but I hopefully know he thinks he knows me better than that.
Well,
Knows I wouldn't do that.
you need somebody
I
around
wouldn't
you.
change it. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't change it. You know, life's a learning curve, isn't it? And you know, I've been there now and I've tried it, and it's still made me the person who I am.
Any more music, or are we done with that?
Oh, I don't know. I think we're done with that. Maybe. If it would, it'd be more cover versions than anything. I don't think I've really got the body to be a pop star prancing around on a stage now, have I?
I don't know, there's a lot of people who like looking at that body. Talking of which, Mark's in the studio, your new husband. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is it about this woman then that did it for you?
Meaning...
I mean, there's a lot of baggage that comes with Kerry. The fact that you've got Pap set outside your house every hour of the day.
I don't know, I can't answer that.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Was
Do
it
I
just-
make you laugh?
Oh,
Do
yeah,
you-
yeah, sorry, yeah. She makes me laugh.
Why
She
you-
is quite funny. She is, in her own way.
Well, she's obviously a big personality. That's why everybody loves her. There's a huge baggage that comes with somebody like Kerry. Just because she's a star, you clearly don't want to be showbiz. Why would you want to have a relationship with somebody who brings you all of that attention that you don't necessarily want? Is it just she was just so amazing you had no choice?
Because I love her.
So how much did you know about Kerry before you actually got to form the relationship where you got married?
Just what you read, isn't it, really? You know, you don't bump into celebrities every day.
And what was your perception of her? Come on, be honest.
Mark's
Well,
very
I-
new to this radio
I
interview. He's
was,
not done one
um,
before.
He's doing very well if you let him answer.
I know,
Let him
okay.
answer.
Well, as she was saying, when they wrote the book, I was there with Fanny, the ghostwriter who did the book for Kerry, so...
The crap that she goes through and the things that people say about her must break her heart. I think one of the most disgusting headlines I read in the last year or so was the headline about you taking coke whilst pregnant with your last child. When you read that and you opened the News of the World that Sunday, how did you feel and how did you react?
That devastated me. Like I said, I wasn't on my medication then.
It seems to me, even if it's true, it's tragic, and most of the time it's not true, which is even more tragic. Thank you for talking to me. It has genuinely been one of the most insightful hours I've ever done on the radio.
Oh.
And I hope to talk to you again.
Thank you
Kerry
very much.
Katona.
Cheers. Hi, I'm Kerry Katona, and you're listening to Alex Belfield. Personally, I'd rather live in Iceland than listen to that rubbish.